From Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1967, Christmas Traditions. Oh, I forgot to change my shirt. I was going to put one of my Christmas shirts. Oh well, I will have to remember that one for the next time that we do a Christmas themed one. Anyway, so there are lots of Christmas traditions out there. Hang on, my question for you today is what Christmas tradition in your family has the most meaningful story or history behind it? And just share in the comments how it connects you to your ancestors or inspires your celebrations today. So put that in the comments about what that tradition is has a meaningful story for you or a history behind it, and share how it connects you to your ancestors and inspires your celebrations today. I'd love to hear that. You know me, I'm all about the story, all about the story. Okay, now that I've got all foreign things off my screen. So it's been an awesome day today. So let's have a look at some Christmas traditions, like the Christmas tree. The modern Christmas tree tradition is often traced back to the 16th century Germany, where devout Christians brought decorated trees into their homes. It's said that Martin Luther was inspired to add candles to a tree after seeing stars twinkling through the branches. How cute. I like twinkly lights on Christmas trees. I do not have my Christmas tree up yet. I don't have anywhere to put it right now. When you're getting ready to move, there's a lot of stuff everywhere. And right now, there's a lot of stuff everywhere and nowhere to put a tree. But we will see. Queen Victoria and Prince Albert popularized the Christmas tree in England after being depicted with one in an 1848 newspaper illustration. Yeah, Christmas trees. I love the smell of the real Christmas trees. Santa Claus. Santa Claus has origins in St. Nicholas, a 4th century bishop from Myra, modern-day Turkey, known for his generosity, especially towards children and the poor. If you have ever seen the movie Santa and Pete, that's P-E-T-E, it is a great movie that talks about, you get to meet Nicholas, a 4th century bishop, and how he comes over to the new world, and how he goes from wearing the clothes he is wearing to the book that he has to the gifts that he gives out, and how it slowly changes, and where he gets his red suit from, where the cart gets turned into a sleigh, and why, how they end up with reindeer, how they end up flying, all these really cool little things. But Santa and Pete's a really, really cool movie. It's been out for a lot of times. It has James Earl Jones in it, and I'm trying to think who else is in that one that I know. Oh, it has the girl that played the middle daughter in the Cosby Show. She's in it. Who else do I know that's in there? Can't think who else I know is in there. Those are the two main people that I can think of off the top of my head. It's been a year since I've seen the movie. So also with Santa Claus, Dutch settlers brought the tradition of Sinterklaas to America, evolving into a jolly figure we know today, thanks to the works like Clement Clarke Moore's 1823 poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, aka The Night Before Christmas. Oh, I love some of these traditions. Christmas stockings. Legend has it that St. Nicholas saved 3 sisters from poverty by tossing gold coins through their window, which landed in their stockings hanging by the fire to dry. The tradition of hanging stockings by the fireplace has endured, though now they're more filled with small gifts and treats. Actually, one of the boxes I opened, there it was on top. I'm like, oh, awesome. Haven't seen that since we left Virginia. Caroling. Caroling dates back to pre-Christian times when people sang songs to celebrate the changing of the seasons. Because usually around Christmas, we have the winter solstice, and there are people who celebrate the winter solstice rather than celebrating Christmas. There's also Hanukkah going on, but that could be November or December based on the phases of the moon or the moon calendar. And then there's Kwanzaa, which is the day after Christmas. So, but you've got your caroling, which goes back to where people sang songs to celebrate the changing of the seasons. Right near Christmas is solstice, which occurs around the 21st or the 22nd of December. In the Middle Ages, wassailing became popular, where groups would sing door to door to bring good cheer and receive food or drink in return. I always remember in the movie Love Actually, where Hugh Grant plays the Prime Minister, and him and his and he knows where the girl who used to be his admin person, the street she lives in, but he doesn't know what house she's in. So he goes down knocking door to door and gets by these kids wanted him to sing a song. They thought he was going caroling. So he ended up singing what was the song? Can't remember the name of the song, but I do know his protection detail, one of the policemen that stood there, and he had this beautiful, beautiful baritone voice that he chimed in with. It was awesome. Yeah. I know, movie references. I love movies. I'm sorry. Yule log. The Yule log, I love Yule logs. If you go, I don't know if they still do this, but in DC, they have the National Christmas Tree, which is put there. Now, the year that we went to see the National Christmas Tree, it was there. They had this little train that ran around the bottom of it. They had 50-something smaller trees. Now, these smaller trees were probably around 5 foot tall, 4 to 5 feet tall, and they had these not glass balls, plastic balls that had decorations inside them. And the decorations inside were done by school kids from that state. And they had one tree for every state and one tree for every US territory. And they were really cool. It was really cool to wander around. And as you're walking down the path and wandering around, at the far end opposite the tree, they had this huge Yule log that was in a pit and burning. And they had these other logs that you could sit on around it. They had a place where carolers, they had a makeshift seating thing, like you see at football games and stuff. They had that set up on one side where they would have carolers there. They had places you could buy hot chocolate or you could bring your own. They had these different little sheds that had different Christmas scenes and things in it. It was a very festive time. It was freezing cold, but everybody would be standing around the Yule log, and you just stand there. And the Yule log is this humongous log that they put there, and it just burns for days. So the Yule log tradition comes from Norse mythology, where a large log was burned to honor Thor. The ashes were believed to bring good fortune. Over time, the practice evolved into decorative Yule logs, and today many enjoy the tradition through edible Yule log cakes. When I was reading that, when I was looking all this up, I thought, oh, Yule log cake, when did I last have one of those? It's too much to eat by myself, but maybe next year, since my oldest nephew has decided that we're all having Christmas at my parents' place next year, maybe that'll be a good time to make a Yule log and bring it out. But yeah. Mistletoe. Mistletoe has ancient ties to Druids who believed it had healing powers and symbolized peace. In Norse mythology, it's linked to the story of Baldur's death and subsequent resurrection, symbolizing love and reconciliation. The practice of kissing under the mistletoe likely began in England during the 18th century. Nobody actually knows when it started, but that seems to be the earliest recollection recording of it. Candy canes. Who loves candy canes? I love candy canes. Legend has it a choir master in the 17th century Germany invented candy canes to keep children quiet during church. The cane's shape represented the shepherd's crook, while the white color symbolized purity. Red stripes and peppermint flavoring were added in later centuries, with some attributing Christian symbolism to the colors. And I've seen ones that have like green stripes through it too. You have the red, white, and green stripes. Christmas cards. The first Christmas card was created in 1843 by Sir Henry Cole, a British civil servant who wanted to encourage ordinary people to use the new postal system. How cool is that? Early cards often featured family gatherings, winter scenes, and even harmonious or whimsical images. I might have to go to a secondhand store because I tend to find like old postcards and cards at secondhand stores. So maybe I might have to go and have a look and see if they have any old Christmas cards. Maybe I could use them for decorations. That's a thought. Poinsettias. The poinsettia plant is native to Mexico and has become associated with Christmas due to a legend about a poor girl who offered weeds to Jesus. They transformed into beautiful red flowers symbolizing her love and faith. The plant was popularized in the U.S. by Joel Poinsett, the first U.S. ambassador to Mexico. Interesting. I always love finding out how did things start. I love this. You never know. Your ancestor may be named in one of these things. You never know. The 12 days of Christmas refer to a period between Christmas Day and Epiphany, which is January 6th. The song may have started as a memory game for children or even a secret catechism for the Catholics during periods of persecution. Oh, you never know where things start, do you? Oh, the 12 days of Christmas, my true love gave to me. Gift giving during Christmas may trace back to the story of the Magi bringing gifts to baby Jesus. In some cultures, Saint Nicholas, or rather figures like, or other figures like La Befana in Italy and the Three Kings in Spain, were traditionally the gift givers, with presents exchanged on their feast days instead of Christmas. Yeah, I always like that one. Then you have Advent calendars. The Advent calendar tradition began in Germany, where families would mark the days until Christmas with white chalk lines or by lighting candles. The first printed Advent calendar appears in the early 1900s, featuring small doors that open to reveal pictures, Bible verses, or treats. And I have to say, Zeffie is loving her dog treat Advent calendar, and I am totally and utterly enjoying my chocolate truffle Advent calendar. So those are just some of the traditions around Christmas that have developed over the years into what we have today, and that's how some of them got started. So what traditions what of those traditions were your family around for? Did they see any of those happening? When did they start adopting them? Are there any traditions that have been passed down through generations? What sort of things? I'm just trying to think of traditions we had in our family. Can't really think. We moved a lot. So I'm trying to think if we ever had any. I know we had to wait until a certain time to open presents. If we got up before, I think it was like 7 o'clock in the morning, we were not allowed to disturb anyone. We were not allowed to touch any presents under the tree. And we were not allowed to touch the presents or even look at them. We could sit and look at them, but we weren't allowed to touch them or anything until after 7 o'clock in the morning. And we weren't allowed to go into Mum and Dad's room before then either. They were making sure they got a good night's sleep, even if us kids were up and, it's Christmas Day. And we weren't allowed to go and wake each other up either. So that was kind of, yeah. You had a girl and 2 boys. Good luck with that. And the 2 boys shared a room. So, that made it interesting trying to, not wake each other up. I guess that was kind of our Christmas tradition. But we had a lot of fun. And basically we'd just spend the day at home and play any new games that we got. Figuring out the rules and things. And we just had a nice, quiet family day at home. In later years, I don't know if they still do this, but in Wellington, which is the capital of New Zealand, the trains run free on Christmas Day. And so last time I was in New Zealand for Christmas, which was 2018, Mum and Dad and I, we went down to the train station. We hopped on the train and we had lunch was made with us and our backpacks that we had, our day packs we had with us. And we took the train into Wellington, and then we caught the train that went out into the Hutt Valley and caught that all the way out to Upper Hutt to the last stop of the train. Now we got on at I think we were on the first stop that we got on going into Wellington. And then we hopped and we found another train that went out to the Hutt Valley. And so we got on that and went all the way to Upper Hutt, which is at the end of the line there. And then we brought it all the way back. Now, going up the Hutt, when you go into the Hutt, you go through the suburbia there, but on the way to get there, once you leave the train station, you're getting to view Wellington Harbour as you go through. It was awesome. We got back to Wellington to get on the train to go back home, and to find out that our trains had been cancelled because there were no train drivers that day. There were no train drivers to do the afternoon shift, so they were doing it in buses. So we got bussed all the way up to Paraparaumu, which is where they live, and got off and we dropped off, and they stopped at every train station along the way. So we never really went on the we did go on the motorway a little bit. Now the motorway's like your freeways. We did go on the motorways a little bit, but mainly it was through the streets and stuff because we were stopping at each train station along the way. It was kind of cool, even though we had to do it on buses. It was okay. It was just all part of the adventure, part of the fun. And I remember doing that another year with my parents too. And basically you just get off the train at the last stop and you just wander around, and they tell you that we're going to be heading back, and you got like 10 minutes before we turn around and head back in or whatever it was. And so we'd just get off, stretch the legs, get back on the train and that sort of thing. And we stopped at one point and had lunch, and we stopped in Wellington Station because we had time before trains left or buses left. And so we had one of our sandwiches that we had made ourselves, and it was a really good day. It was a good day. It was a good nothing day. instead of sitting at home, and we just went out and explored the area. And you see different things from trains when you're going on the trains and things. You get a different perspective on stuff. So it was a pretty cool train. It was a good way to kill a day. It was a good day to kill a day. And then New Year's Day we went to Te Papa, and that's when I saw the huge Gallipoli exhibition that they had on there. And we spent it says it takes 20 minutes to go through if you don't read everything. We read everything. We looked at everything. It took us 2.5 hours to go through it. But it was worth the 2.5 hours for that. So that was New Year's Day. But yeah, Christmas Day, we didn't really do much on Christmas Day. Just hang out with family and friends, and yeah, we really didn't do much on Christmas Day. I like it, and I like that because there's no real work to do, no real cooking to do that day. Everything has already been prepared beforehand. And because we're in the middle of summer, it's cold meat and salads, which is perfect because nobody has to do any cooking. It's just a matter of taking stuff out of the fridge, throwing it together on plates, and putting it on the table. The Christmas pudding, though, did require some heating because you've got to have a hot Christmas pudding with the hot custard over top. And that is so good. Yeah, steamed Christmas pudding. I love steamed Christmas pudding, but it doesn't take much to put one of those together either. It's so yes, everything that we did on Christmas Day was, although there have been Christmases where we do barbecue, some sausages and some chops. So there is a little bit of work required, but we try to make it as easy day as possible for everybody. Everybody chips in, helps out, does what they need to do, and that sort of stuff. So just make it a nice, easy family day, and you have a lot of fun that way. So what Christmas traditions do you have that have been passed down through generations? And let us know in the comments about how those stories impacted you, or how that tradition impacts you. Do you still do it today? Or have you changed it slightly based on the time of, the times that we now live in compared to what your ancestors would have done back in the day? So with that, we are out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at